Listen, this is going to be an amazing panel, I think. I'm biased, right? Obviously. But we're going to talk about climbing at high altitude. And you will need that level of energy to go through this panel. I mean, many of us are leading with technology innovation every day, and we know how difficult is that, how difficult it is to drive our business in times in where exponential change and technology innovation are happening in a matter of months, right? So, however, not every day demands the equivalent of climbing Mount Everest, the world's highest peak at 8,800 meters, that requires climbers to perform with 1/3 of the oxygen that we all enjoy here at sea level. Plus deal with some many unpredictable risks. And it's really a challenging journey that requires a unique type of leadership. So we're going to talk about that, right? So I'm really excited to introduce an athlete, a climber, a mentor, and a friend, Lakpa Rita Sherpa. He, in the climbing world, his achievements are remarkable. He summited Everest 17 times. He became the first Nepali to climb the 7 summits, the highest peaks of every single continent on Earth. He was named by Outside Magazine as one of the Adventurers of the Year for his continual rescues of injured Everest climbers. His heart is as big as the galaxy, and I can tell you that. I have been privileged to be guided by Lakpa both in Manaslu in 2012 and in Everest in 2014. We got to enjoy the bright side of the mountains, but also we got to actually deal with the dark side of the mountains. So his courage, professionalism, and humanity are simply extraordinary. So with that, without further ado, join me in welcoming Lakpa Rita Sherpa. Thank you, Lakpa. Please. So maybe I start with namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. So thanks for joining us, Lakpa. I mean, I know you had a long trip from Seattle just to join the team. And let's actually jump into the questions. I mean, he has so many stories, guys. I think we're not gonna really have time to go through all of them. So, Lakpa, tell us about yourself. I mean, what has inspired you to be a climber?
Yeah, I was grown up in very remote village, which is about 12,500 feet above sea level, town called Taming. When I was growing up there, my parents did not have an option to go to school because the school wasn't exist there. And the way to support family is work on mountaineering field. So my dad was a climber, and the school I went was, I've been lucky because after Edmund Hillary summited Everest 1953, he built a school in my hometown, which was 1960s, the school was built. So I was able to go to school, but when I'm a student going to school, Edmund Hillary and Tenzing used to visit my school once a year, every year. So I've been inspired by them. I always want to be climb and follow their footsteps. Along with my dad was a mountain guide, and many of the other men from my village are mountain guides. So they also inspired me. I didn't know that I will choose this as my professions, but I always want to climb Everest. But at the end, I have to choose this as my professions.
Excellent. And you do very well, Lakpa. I learned a lot from you. So people always ask, you know, when we go to Nepal and we go to climbing expeditions, you know, about the Sherpa community. What is to be a Sherpa?
Oftentimes, people confuse that Sherpa meanings is the people who works on the mountains, and not necessarily that's the meaning. Sherpa is ethnicity, group of people. We immigrant from Tibet like 700 years ago. We live in a high place in the Himalayas, border between Tibet and Nepal. But in early 50s, when climbers come to climb the Himalayan peaks, they use our tribe to support, carry the loads up and down on the mountain. And they also give a job titles called climbing Sherpas. So that's
That's the story, right?
that's the stories.
And being a climbing Sherpa is an honor in the Kumbu area, right?
Definitely is a great way to make a living, support a family. Like I say, we didn't have a much opportunity to get into educations, and this is how you support your families, how you make a living out of it.
Um, I had the opportunity to trek with Lakpa on our way to Everest, and it's incredible. I was going town by town, and every town that Lakpa arrived, people were getting out of their houses with flowers and actually welcoming Lakpa. Tell us about that, Lakpa.
Our traditions, we, Sherpa, has a very good traditions. We always welcome our guests. We are open-hearted. We have a big heart. We always treat our guests very well. And every time I bring my guests to my hometown, people will be welcoming me. And our traditions is they offer me tea or some sorts of drink and white kata scarves, which is basically to welcome. Those kata scarves we will be using 2 or 3 different purpose. When you're welcoming, you will offer them a kata scarves, white scarves, or when you're going to do some extreme things such as like you're getting a wedding ceremony or you're going to climb mountains or you're going to build a house or stuff like that, we always offer their kata as bringing you a better lucks or karmas. So that's why every time when we're trekking around Khumbu, every tea houses we stay, they will be welcoming us, offering the kata scarf. And same time when we're departing, they will giving us that kata scarf for our good karma for our next journey.
Excellent, excellent. It's a very emotional moment for climbers to be there. So I'm looking at the picture, Lakpa. I didn't know you were a model. I mean, can you explain?
That was when I was young, but I'm a little older now. Basically, yeah, I was sponsored by Sherpa Adventure Gear. There was a founded by Sherpa who lives in Seattle, Washington, and he was in a clothing business a long time ago, and he never manufactured or mountaineering clothing. So he gave me an opportunity to be a brand ambassador for his company, and since then I worked with him for over 10 to 12 years. Unfortunately, the company didn't stick. Well, there's so many brand out there. So Sherpa Adventure Gear US is no longer exist, but it is still exists in Europe.
Okay, good. So you summit Everest 17 times, right? So I'm gonna take you. This is a nice picture from the balcony, right? Or from the South Summit, right? South Summit.
It is from the South Summit. Yeah.
So I'm gonna take you to that day, your first day, the first time you summit Everest. Go back there, right? You are actually standing there at the South Summit. What were you feeling that day?
Like I say, I started climbing 1994 because I never got an opportunity to go to a higher college degree because my dad used to be a climber, and he got a frostbite. He lost his toes and finger. My parent has, I have 8 siblings. Parent gave a birth of 11 kids. 3 didn't survive. Like I say, by then we didn't have hospital and a school. Anyhow, being a first oldest son in a family, I got to take over to keep support the family of 10. So my father arranged me a work with his cousin. I started working on Everest since 1984. But by then I didn't have much experience. That expeditions wasn't that great. I got buried with avalanche a couple times. Luckily, I was lucky enough to survive. But my first summit was on 1990, October the 7th. That was a huge things for me. It opened huge doors for me. I was climbing with the Yugoslavian team, one of the best climbers in the world, Andrei Strempel, and his wife, Maria Strempel. They're the first couple to climb Everest. Andre has taught me so much thing. By then, because I was able to go to school up to 10th grade, my English was pretty decent. I can communicate with the team. We have 12 Sherpas working together, but my English was the best. So Andre picked me, chose me as his climbing Sherpas. And on October 7th, we step on the summit of Everest, which was a big achievement for myself, for Andre and his wife. We great memories. We burst into tears, very big emotional for all 3 of us. Andre and Maria was the first couple to climb Everest, and never forget that moment. I know I keep summited after that, but every summit is pretty special for me. But again, the first one was the most unforgettable one.
I can imagine that. So that picture you see now is from Camp 4, right? I mean, there's a black pyramid or what?
That's looking from up to South Summit through the triangular face, and Camp 4 is down low there. You see one guy walking there.
Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that. Wow.
There's a guy down there at the bottom before the Sarak.
Yeah. So let's go to the next picture, because this is the one when we were together in Manaslu and 2012. Manaslu, right? That was 2012. I mean, that was a difficult year for us because we got an avalanche, and I've seen LACPA in action, right, helping us to basically survive. So, what do you remember from that day, LACPA?
Yeah, it was September 26, 2012, around 4:30 a.m. We are still in a tent. We heard this huge waves of wind, debris shaking our tents. We're still in a bed. Your tent is next to my tent, and my tent mate is Garrett Medicines. We're sharing the tent together. My tent was ripped and pushed quite a bit down from the area we set up. We didn't know what happened, and as soon as I heard that, Garrett and I was holding my tent, and then we hold the tent. After the wind stopped, we get out from our tent, make sure all of our team members are okay and safe. We watch around our campsites, and seems like our camps is doing okay. We are all safe there. Nothing much damage, except few tents are ripped. But I see this glimpse of flashlight flashing down from the high on the mountain where people were stuck in avalanche. and they are looking for help. Uh, so after making sure everyone is well in our team, start walking towards to where the avalanche has happened. It was a huge, huge avalanche. It swept the whole camp of Camp 3, the camp above us. We're at the Camp 2. It killed, ended up killing 11 climbers and injured over a couple dozen of climbers that day. I got to the scene, and there was joined with a whole bunch of other climbers, the Sherpas, and my co-guide Garrett and few other guides along with us. We get to the scene and we tried to save a lot of those who are injured. We gave priority to those who are still alive. We're able to rescue at least 20 climbers who are stuck in that avalanche. And then later of the day, we coordinate with the base camp. We have a radio, handheld radio. We talk with the radio, coordinate to base camp. And then base camp, there's a Russell Bryce, who also one of the guide who operate expeditions on Himalayas. He talks with his sat phone to Kathmandu and arrange a helicopter. So we built a helipad right bottom of where the avalanche debris stopped. We rescue all of those who are survived from that avalanche that day. I wasn't able to send, we discovered about 8 of the dead body that day. 3 were still missing. Among them, one of them is very famous climbers from France, I believe. But anyhow, we were not able to send all of those dead bodies that day because of the weathers and all of those things plays up there. Main thing is our main focus was those wounded climbers need to be get back and to the hospital and get treated. So those was our focus, and we were able to get most of them out of that day. And a few there were not that serious. We kept them. We take them to the base camp next day. Half of the team take them to the base camp, and half of the team stay up there. Try to send the dead body to Kathmandu. It took maybe over 10 or 12 flights to do that. That was very emotional, but lucky that both myself and Marcelo is standing in front of you here today.
Thank you, Lakpa. So yesterday we Nelly from Accenture, she was leading the women's breakfast. She said something I took note to our female leaders, technology leaders. She said, be fearless but ready, right? I mean, you need to be fearless, but you need to be ready, right? So Lakpa, tell us what goes in preparing for an expedition like Everest.
There's a long list to preparations for Everest. The number one thing is you need to learn first. You need to get ideas. You have to build your physical strength. You have to build your mental strength. And then you also need to build the skill that you need. All those skills you need to learn. Explore, learn from the mountains, and then get a train, get ready. And then once you're ready, you need to choose who you want to go, which company you want to go. there are so many companies that operate trips, and many all over the world, many places. If you want to do climbing, then choose what suits for you. I mean, there is a company range charging from 20 grams to 100 grams, between that range on operators on Everest. You get what you pay for it. I don't recommend to go to the company that is the lowest price, but I also don't recommend to go the highest one. You just have to choose in the middle, whichever suit for you. I mean, this is pretty expensive sports. Everest is not just Everest itself, the preparations yourself before getting to Everest. There's a lot of steps. You have to climb from small mountain up to like 7,000 to 8,000 meter other peaks, which is a long process. And then also you have to be respectful to the local communities. Like being like leaders or guide, I need to be focused on my team, how they does on the field. I can tell within a day or two, someone needs more focus on it. I will put more focus on it, train them. We also will train them in base camp for like some degrees, not a long time, but 3 to 4 days. We give a refreshment training. But before you get there, you need to train yourself. You need to build your strength, physical strength. You need to have a good mental strength as well.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about mental strength, what do you mean, Lakpa?
I mean, when I have seen a lot of climbers, they spend 60 to 80 grand, come to Everest, and they pretty much think about back home. You have all this luxury here. When you go to the mountain, you will be sleeping in a tent for months and months. So you need to focus on those things. You don't want to focus on what luxury you have back in home. You are giving up that luxury and go to a remote area to experience it. So basically, it might be one, say, for example, you might be not feeling well today. That doesn't mean it's not the end of the day. You need to think about that. You need to focus on yourself. You need to tell to yourself, oh, you're not feeling well today, but tomorrow you will recover. You will feel better. Try to take care of yourself when you're not feeling well, but not thinking too much. Oh, what happened tomorrow if I don't if I don't feel better tomorrow? Doesn't help. Just take care of yourself when you're not feeling good, or take as is one step at a time. You cannot climb the steps without stepping the first step, right? You want to go one foot in front of the other. You have to think about one day at a time, and then those are the things you need to focus on while you're climbing on mountains and stream areas.
Thank you. And for those that don't know, we were talking during the breakfast. Now these days, you are at Everest and you are posting in Facebook, which is a bit weird, right? But I remember when we were in 2016, there was this person in a tent that was selling these internet cards that you actually scratch and you get the code and you get access to the internet. So Everest is becoming a pretty high-tech place on Earth.
Yeah, when I started in 1984, there was nothing like that. We used to have mail runners. Also, there will be Sherpa who will be carrying the mail up and down on the mountains. So the team will write a mail to their home, their loved one, their friends. So the mail runner will carry the mail to Kathmandu and then buy the postage and mail to their families back in home. And then they will receive the mail from the family. The mail runner will be carried the mail to back to the camp, including magazine or whatever. But today, the technology, because of technology, whatever happening right now on the mountain, within a minute or two, you'll know it because of social media, internet, all those is accessible.
And that's the way we have been connected the last few years, right? With you and your brother. I was texting his brother, how many times he climbed Everest?
He has a 28 summit on Everest.
28 summit. 28 times summit in Everest. He was texting me yesterday. I was telling you I were coming, and he said, I just climbed Manaslu yesterday. I was like, okay. I mean, yeah, I just came from the gala dinner. Yeah, what can I say, right? So Lakpa, we have a lot of intention in promoting gender diversity in the technology industry, and I know also mountaineering is being thought as a sport that is pretty much male dominated, right? But you and me have the opportunity to climb with many brave women in the Himalayas. But I know you're doing a lot of work to actually inspire women to climb. Tell us about that.
Yeah, today a lot of the women there are more into adventures. Like when I start climbing, like early days, there are mostly the males are doing this type of adventures. But today there are more and more women involved in this type of adventures. I've been working with the team of women called Pacific Northwest Women Social Club and Hiking, Social Hiking and Club, Social Club and Hiking. So this club has over 200 women. They do a lot of hikings around Northwest Seattle area, all over like Colorado, anywhere else. I've been training them. They want to become a mountaineer. There are quite a few wants to become a mountaineer. And then the last 2 years, I've been training each team's 1-day basic mountaineering course, so they can learn a little bit about mountaineering and they can explore themselves. So I've been teaching them last 2 years. I taught over 40 women. Each trip will be about 10 women. So those women, they decided to do even more extreme hikes. So I took them to Everest Base Camp this spring. So which is great. I got a great opportunity working with this founder. Her name is Christy Peterson. So I got a great opportunity working with her, and I'm so happy to help her and her team on these adventures.
Thanks for doing that.
Thank you.
So I want to leave 10 minutes for questions because I'm sure the audience has many questions. But Lakpa, you have spent all your life climbing, building other climbers, leading by example in many areas of your life. Your family is great. I mean, I had the opportunity to meet a few of you guys and amazing people. And you have a lot of respect in Nepal and here in the US. So let's fast forward 40 years from now, right? And you look back, Lakpa, and what's your legacy?
So my legacy is to people to inspire by how do I say this? Sorry.
I can help you with Nepalese.
Let me think about it. Sorry about my language, but needs to be come in my mind some point. Say, well, for example, is to follow whether you are climbing mountains or in your basic life, you want to push your limit and pursue your dream, whether on a mountaineering field or in your life. Also thinking about that not only conquering the mountain, but deep respect to the nature, putting a sense of preserving these fragile ecosystems. So people can learn how to keep this beauty of nature as it is in our future generations.
So we got 2 questions now, but before, I know you're working on a new project, so I want to make sure people know what you're working on.
I've been working with a company called Alpine Essence last 40 plus years. And when I was working this company, they gave me a great opportunity. They brought me to the United States to work here. And because of this company, I was able to actually become a first Sherpa to climb 7 summit. But I'm getting old. I want to lay back a little
Wiser.
bit. So to do that, I need to be my own boss. So I started my own company last year, which give me more flexible. I can give more times to my family. And like I said, when I'm working for Alpine Ascent, I'll be gone for 8 to 9 months out of a year. I never give much time to my family. I never be home for New Year or Christmas or whatever. I'm always in somewhere in a little yellow tent. But now my family deserve more time to spend. So I decided that if I start my own business, so I can schedule it by myself, and I can do this, give more time to my family. So that's all. And then my company is called Kangri Experience, which is translated to Kangri means the mountain, and then experience, mountain experience. My goal is, I'm still trying to advertise a little bit of a mountaineering as well, if people are interested, but my main goal is for do more of the hiking, trekking to Nepal, Tanzania, and a little bit of a mountaineering in Northwest, Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, and then more of the time spending with families.
Excellent. Well, if you are into adventure,
Thank you.
he's the one. Okay, so let's go for questions now from the audience. Questions for Lakpa. We have here. Please go ahead. I cannot see you. Okay.
Thank you. Hi, Lakpa. Thank you so much for your story of leadership, struggle, and survival. It's been inspirational listening to you. And so you were describing how people choose you to climb up. And my question is, when you, after the 4 days of training, and when you have that team ready to climb, and you notice that some of those members may not be ready or have the skills to go up, how do you deal with that?
So basically, as a mountaineering company, we screen our climbers. Okay, we have a screening system. We require climbers to what that meets to climb mountain. So if you want to go climb Mount Rainier or Mount Baker, you don't need any experience. We'll teach there or we'll coach there and again. But if you want to do something extreme, there's steps by steps. You need to climb some of the other mountains, such as like Denali, Aconcagua, which are requirement, because Denali to give you a lot of skill technique that teach you, and also Denali teach you how to prepare for extreme weather conditions. Denali's weather condition is sometimes is worse than Everest. And then Aconcagua give you the experience of altitude, which is almost 7,000 meter peak. So we require those of the requirements. If those requirements meets, then as a company, they will accept that. If not, then they will give you recommendations what you need to do go to Everest. Did I?
Who is next this time? Okay.
Hey, hi. Nice to meet you. It was very nice to hear your story. Thank you for sharing. My name is Giovanna, and be cool because you're already inspiring us. So I'm sure your legacy is already there when you said that your legacy is to inspiring us, push your limit, and keep preserving the nature and respect. I think you already showed that to all this audience today. So thank you for that. And my question is about, you comment about prepare physically and mentally. Physically for us is kind of obvious, you know, we're gonna need to train and everything, but how do you actually prepare mentally? You comment about when you are in campus, you kind of focus on yourself, you're focused on what you're doing there, and you're focused on your next step. But before you go, what's this mental preparation? How can you explain a little bit more about that? Because I think it can be useful for all of us in anything we do.
For basically the mental preparations is, like, say, like meditating, okay? You focus on, when you do a meditating, you focus on your mental life. So you need to think about that. You are on a stage that you're doing such a thing like, say, going to climb Everest. You have to focus on that. You will leave everything that around you behind. If you're thinking about your business, you're thinking about your home too much, stuff like that, you will not focus on what you're doing. So basically what I'm saying is I want to be aware of everything life, what you are doing it, and try to build that mental to focus on what you're doing, which is pretty hard, pretty challenging, to focus on that. Sometimes, when you get to the nature, you have to listen to the nature. Sometimes you have to listen to the music. That also help focusing on more on what you're doing instead of, like I say, today we have all this social internet, and people you're starting to looking at internet and what's going on around the world. You're thinking about the world, and then your mental will not focus on what you're doing. It disturbs you, and then you won't be able to do what you are trying to do. I hope I answer your questions.
It did. Thank you. Thank you so much.
This side.
So, thank you very much for sharing your experience. First of all, I'm actually leaving in 2 weeks to go climb Kilimanjaro for the first time. So this is perfect timing for me. So, thank you. If there is, I was going to ask you about the mental training, but I think you've covered that. So if there's one advice that you have for somebody like me, that I'm 2 weeks into going and climbing Kilimanjaro, or anybody really, what would that be?
The first thing is, if you have opportunity to gain some altitude back home here, I definitely will do that. Number two, you don't want to stress up yourself. Like I say, one step at a time. Go slow. Altitude is different than, the climbing sport is different than marathon, okay? If you start going fast, if you start running, it doesn't help you by altitude because you need to adopt the altitude. So going slow will definitely help you. And then focusing on drinking, eating and drinking, okay? As you go higher in elevations, your appetite drops down. You need to force yourself to eat. You need strength to keep going. You need to drink fluid, at least 3 to 4 liters a day. I mean, a lot of time people think that drinking water means you don't want to chug a liter of water right away. Our body cannot process that liter of water within an hour breath. And what it does is it comes right off. You want to sip up water, and you need to learn more about a breathing technique called pressure breathing, which is basically, on altitude, the oxygen basically molecules same amount, whether you are in sea level or top of any mountains, 21% of oxygen molecule. But when you're higher on the elevations, the pressures, low pressures, because of that, the oxygen spread farther away from your body, so you're not getting same amount of oxygen that you're getting in sea level. Because of that, when you're flying a plane, when you get a certain elevations above 8,000 feet, maybe 9,000, the pilot will be pressurized the cabin, and we all get same amount of oxygen. But when you're climbing a mountain, you don't have that options because you have this open sky. So climber discovered this technique called pressure breathing, which is basically deep inhale and force their air out, pursing your lips, blowing candle 2 feet away, something like that. So what that does is it next inhalations, all of those what you call your lungs and alveoli, right? So collapse because of the less pressure. What it does, it create a back pressure into your lungs, and it start opening the alveoli, and then help exchange of CO2 and O2. We don't want to build too much of carbon dioxide into your lung, right? But you don't want to do too much in lower elevations. What that does is also you hyperventilate, okay? You need to do like one breath, lower elevations, maybe one breath every 4 to 5 steps. And as you go higher, you want to use frequently, and that helps more oxygen. If you have an oximeter, put the oximeter on it and do this technique for a minute, you can see your O2 sets jumping up. Those are the things you need to focus on.
This is a master class. Can I take one more question? One more question? Yes? Yes, I assume yes.
Thank you, Lakpa and Marcelo, for this amazing session. Thank you for being here. I would love if you don't mind sharing how you went. I know you shared that you prepare mentally, but you share with us a moment where everything was chaos around you, and that moment where the avalanche swept your base camp. How you mentally prepare to just focus and go into a mode to assess the situation and really go and provide help. What is that? Probably you're not even thinking about it, but what are the lessons that you can share with us when there is chaos around us and we just really need to focus on accomplishing one or two things?
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the avalanche on Everest. 2013, right? 2013, April 18th, we had a huge avalanche stuck in Everest. killed 16 Sherpas. Uh, among them, 5 of them are my coworkers. Among them, 5 of them are my coworkers. It was the early morning. Friend of mine, my coworker, co-guide, who heard the avalanche, and he woke me up. My radios, well, being a lead Sherpa, I have a lot of responsibility. When my team Sherpas leave from base camp, I always keep my radio on, but I didn't hear anything from my radio, but my coworker called me. It says there's a huge avalanche, and under the avalanche there are a lot of Sherpas, or maybe they got stuck by the avalanche. And my focus was, just think about those guys and get up there and try to save them out of whatever. So anyhow, I radio to my team that morning, and quite a few of my teams are off the avalanche. They're way to Camp 2, which is about an hour from the avalanche scene. Talk to them, and their response is at least 30 Sherpa was buried under the avalanche. And as soon as I heard that, I said, you guys are safe. If you are in safe zone, leave whatever you're carrying, leave there, and then just descend down where the avalanche zone is, where the accident had happened, and bring all of the tools you have. So I just put my shoes on, I talked them, and I said, I'm going to get ready, and I will meet you guys all up there. So I put my boots on, I got bottles of water for myself, and I packed my HITECs, and I start climbing. And I got to the scene. Before I got to the scene, I met quite a few wounded Sherpas coming down. They were confused, and they really didn't want me to go up there. They think it's still pretty dangerous. Still, the avalanche can still happen. But my thinking is, I want to get there and try to help these guys out. Hopefully, I can give them new life. It took me an hour and a half to get there. But like I say, because of social media and self-service, I got a call from my wife while I was hiking. And she was worried. She knew what happened up there. But I told her, I don't have time to talk to you. I need to be up there. Those guys need me up there. They need my help. So I hung up the phone and went up there. I tried my best to recover. When I get there, there are over 60 Sherpas there. They are confused, wondering what to do. And my job is not safe. I want them to leave the scene. So I told most of them to leave the scene, and I kept 12 of my Sherpas who've been working with me. So I know them. They have a good skills. They're strong enough to help me. So we keep continuous digging the avalanche debris, and found these 11 dead bodies on top of each other. By then, it is too late. I wasn't able to give a new life to them, but I at least rescued them, and handed the dead bodies to their families. So, to mentally, I was thinking that my big hope. You know, I was always want to have a great, I want to have a big hope that I can save this guy's life. Same thing with Manaslu, like early morning, I went up there. I have a big hope. I was able to save, we were able to save like over a couple dozen of people, which gave me a big lessons that never gave up. You need to have always big hope. Something happen, bad things happen, and you always need to be step in front of up and try your best. So that's what I learned from it. Okay. Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you very much. I know we ran out of time, but thank you, Lakpa, for being with us. You are an inspiration to each and all of us.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
And now a word from a few of our valued HITEC